So in this short video, I'm going to talk through the top 3 mistakes that students make when writing history essays and give some tips on how to solve them. So this is in my experience as a history teacher, and it goes for all history essays for all age groups from the start of secondary all the way up to the end of A levels. These are common issues and common mistakes that students make. So the first one is telling the story, where students just tell the story of what happened. They lapse into kind of narrative. They start talking about one event after the other without linking back to the question. So the solution to this is obviously being analytical, explaining why your evidence is important in relation to the question. So as an example, I've got the Armada portrait here of Elizabeth I. And you could have a question on, for example, why did the Armada fail? And you would obviously talk about the use of fire ships. You would talk about maybe the communication issues with the Spanish. You would maybe talk about the weather. But you wouldn't tell the story of those things. You would link those things back to why the Armada failed. So it's not a whole paragraph on discussing the weather. It's saying the weather was important because, and then you're linking it back to the question. So don't tell the story, unless you have a question that asks you to tell the story. But in a regular history essay, it's not about telling the story. It's about being analytical. It's about answering the question. Okay, the mistake number 2 is kind of linked to mistake number 1, but it's not answering the exact question. So look at the precise wording of the question. It's not answering the question that you want to answer. It's answering the question that is set. So the solution to this is use your analysis to link back to the key words of the question. So here's an example question. How significant was the role of the East India Company in the expansion of overseas trade in the years 1625 to 88? So the question is giving you the East India Company as a factor, and it's asking just about the expansion of overseas trade. This one is not asking about the growth of the British economy more generally. It's only asking about overseas trade. So that's where your analysis comes in. When you're talking about other factors, you're going to link those back to the expansion of overseas trade. It's not a broader question about something broader, like, as I say, the British economy more broadly. Okay, so the final mistake that students make is not linking to your argument throughout the essay. Okay, so what you've got, the solution to this is making sure that consistently at the end of every paragraph, at least, as well as in your intro and conclusion, you've got the same argument. So you're linking back to your overall argument consistently throughout the essay, and it just makes it so much more clearer to read. It really helps you gain those top marks because you've got a substantiated judgment. So linking back to your overall argument, whatever your answer to the question is, try and weave that into your essay within all of the paragraphs. Don't make it a surprise at the end. Bring it into all of your paragraphs. So I hope that was useful. If you've got any questions about essay writing, any other issues or things that you think I haven't covered here that I should have, please leave a comment below. Thank you for listening.